Introduction to the Indian Contract Act, 1872. The Indian Contract Act, 1872 is one of the most important laws in India. It deals with contracts, which are agreements that can be enforced by law. This act explains how contracts are made, what makes them valid, and what happens when a contract is broken. The act came into force on the 1st of September, 1872 and applies to the whole of India. Its main aim is to ensure fair dealing, certainty, and justice in business and personal agreements. Almost all commercial activities, such as buying, selling, lending money, or providing services, are based on contracts governed by this Act. According to the Act, not every agreement is a contract. Only those agreements which are legally enforceable become contracts. The Act lays down essential rules regarding offer, acceptance, consideration, capacity of parties, free consent, and lawful object, which must be present for a valid contract. The Indian Contract Act, 1872 provides legal remedies in case of breach of contract, such as compensation and damages. Therefore, this Act forms the backbone of commercial and contractual relations in India and is a basic subject for every LLB student to understand. Meaning of contract, Section 2, H. The term contract is defined in the Indian Contract Act, 1872 under Section 2, H. According to the Act, a contract is an agreement enforceable by law. This means that when two or more persons make an agreement, and that agreement is recognized and enforced by law, it becomes a contract. In simple words, agreement plus consideration plus intention equals contract. Not every agreement is a contract. Only those agreements which create legal obligations are called contracts. Mutual promises, the agreement. This is the meeting of the minds, consensus ad idem. One party makes an offer, and the other accepts it. For example, if A agrees to sell his car to B for money and both agree freely, this agreement is enforceable by law and therefore becomes a contract. Thus, a contract creates legal rights and duties between the parties and is legally binding in nature. The anatomy of a contract. For an agreement to become a valid contract, courts and legal scholars generally look for the following 6 essential elements. Offer. An offer is a clear and definite proposal made by one person, called the offerer, to another person, called the offeree. It must show the intention to be bound if the offer is accepted. Example, A offers to sell his bike to B for 10,000 Indian rupees. Acceptance. Acceptance means when the other person, called the offeree, agrees to the offer exactly as it is made, without adding any conditions. Acceptance must be absolute and unconditional. Example, B agrees to buy the bike for 10,000 Indian rupees. Consideration. Consideration is something given in return for a promise. It is the price of the promise. It need not be money, it can be a service, goods, or even a promise to do or not do something. Without consideration, an agreement is usually a gift, not a contract. Intention to create legal relations. Both parties must intend that their agreement should be legally binding and enforceable by law. This intention is generally assumed in business agreements, but not in social or domestic agreements. Example, a dinner invitation is not a contract. Capacity of parties. The parties must be legally competent to enter into a contract. This means they must be of legal age, major, be of sound mind, not be disqualified by law. A contract with a minor, insolvent is generally void. Legality, lawful object. The object or purpose of the contract must be lawful. An agreement to do something illegal is void and unenforceable. Example, a contract to commit a crime has no legal validity. Conclusion. All these 6 elements must be present for a valid contract. If even one element is missing, the agreement cannot be enforced by law and will not amount to a valid contract.